Mayor, we're ready when you are.
So everybody settle down for a second.
Mike's wrong.
Everybody turn the lights on and phones off, please. Hello, everyone. We're going to go ahead and start our March 12th Town Council meeting, calling this meeting to order. And a couple comments I'd like to make right out of the gate is we have a few, I think, special guests. We have our two previous mayors, Renee Castellone, welcome back, and Barry, welcome. Our vice mayor, Jimmy Accardi, good to see you. Also, last month we recognized all of our town employees, and today I'd like to recognize a few of our volunteer fire department members. If you're on the volunteer fire department, would you please stand up? Well, Chief Putney didn't stand up. I guess he's got the town manager hat on today. So, well, that's true. With all paid firemen, please stand up. Okay, there you go. You know, these guys, they get up at any time during the night, whether it's fire or EMS. They get up any time during the night when it's raining, when it's dark, when we have snow and ice on the ground. So hats off. These guys do a really great job. Did you stand up?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks to our volunteer fire department. We appreciate everything that you guys do in supporting our community. Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So I'm going to pull item 6.3 off the consent agenda, and I need a motion.
Motion, pull it.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Approved, same sign. Opposed, same sign. So we're going to take 6.3 and we're going to move it to new business, which will be item 7.4. So now, since we changed we need to adopt the agenda, please. I need a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Cyclone?
Thanks, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. 188 years ago this month, one of the most decisive battles in the history of our nation was fought in San Antonio, Texas. But remember the Alamo, we all do. Texas at this time was not a state, it was an independent nation, just like the rest of the countries of the world. And Mexico wanted, of course, to annex it back, and the people of Texas didn't want to go back. They want to stay in their country. So it was General Santa Anna from Mexico came in there to see that the Texans were defeated, and they went back with 5,000 of the finest troops that the world at this time had seen. Defending the Alamo was a group of 180 soldiers against 5,000. And you kind of wonder how that's going to turn out there. It's pretty foregone. But Santa Anna with his 5,000 troops up against the 180 Texans, but the Texas boys was kind of interesting. They were made up of a few Texas soldiers, regulars under Colonel William Travis. There was a few volunteers there under Colonel Jim Bowie. I think he's a self-appointed colonel, but I guess you got the volunteers, you could do it then. But Bowie brought some of his good old boys from Mississippi and Louisiana. And this is the same Bowie, Bowie knife fame. He developed the Bowie knife, which of course still around today. Some of you may have one. He kind of had an ulterior motive to come to Texas. He was pretty much, if he didn't go, he was going to go to jail. He'd killed probably 4 or 5 men in duels with a Bowie knife. And so he decided it'd be a good idea to go help the Texans fight there. So he took some of his lads, and then there was another colonel, self-appointed, was Colonel David Crockett from Tennessee. Brought a few in. Of course, we all know of his accomplishments. But David pretty well retired from the fighting bit, and he even served one term in Congress, was elected, and everything went well, and he ran for a second term, and his constituents didn't think he should get it, so they voted him out. So this kind of ticked David off, so he went back to Nashville, met with the Congress and said his goodbye, and in his goodbye speech he told them, he said, looked them all in the eye, and he said, y'all all can go to hell. I'm going to Texas. So he took his boys with him there, some had gathered. But, and there were some, like I said, some locals of Mexican descent. And these were people, I don't know how many generations they had been in Texas. They spoke Spanish, but Texas was, their home, not really Mexico. The first day, Santa Anna came in, and he marched in with his army and his band and everything, and he demanded surrender of all of them at that time. So Colonel Travis's answer was to fire a cannon into the middle of them, and this didn't go over too well. So Santa Anna had his band play no quarter, which meant that it would take over, there'd be no surrender, and everybody in the fort would be wiped out. I'd always been fascinated by the Alamo as a child and read everything I could about it, movies and such as that. I always wanted to go, and I finally got to go. First time, I've been several times since, but the first time I went, I was shocked at the size of it, and I think the second shock was that it was. In the movies and everything, is always out in the middle of nowhere. John Wayne, the boys come charging in. But here it is right in the middle of downtown San Antonio. Of course, the town's grown up around it there. The third thing that surprised me so much, I alluded a little bit before, on the wall they have a list of the defenders, and probably nearly half of them were of Hispanic surnames. And so this goes back to what I was saying. So many of these, local people, they didn't want to be ruled by the Mexican government either. The men from out of the state were called Texicans, not Texicans, but Texicans, just like we are Americans. And they came to Texas to live and fight for Texas independence. And instead of Americans, they worked for the Texicans. And I guess we all wonder, how could 13 people, how could 180 people hold out for 13 days against a 5,000 army? There's an inscription on the wall in the Alamo that would help us understand why. It said, "Be silent, friends, for here heroes died to blaze a trail for other men." Legend has it before the battle that Colonel Travis called them all together and told them the situation, that they had the choice of leaving or staying with him. So he drew the famous line on the ground and all that to say that. And everybody that wanted to stay could step over the line. And legend has it that Davy Crockett got a running start and jumped about 10 feet, so he'd be the first one over the line. And then part of the legend, he went back, and Davy Crockett then helped his friend Jim Bowie across the line. Bowie was sick with some type of fever, near death. He could hardly move like that. But when the battle was over, of course, eventually it happened. There was Santa Anna's cook was a former slave named Ben, and he sent Ben in with the rest of them to kind of locate the bodies and bury them and all. And Ben told a story about when he got to the corner where David Crockett was, found his body was found. They found 16 dead soldiers around it, and David Crockett's famous rifle, Old Betsy, and it was still in his hand. The stock was broken where he used all his bullets, and he continued to fight with that. It was a club, and he was killed. And Bowie was still propped up in bed, And he had his pistol beside him, had his Bowie knife there. There were 6 of them that he had killed. Now, all the people were not killed. There were a few civilians that was there. One of them's wife was Captain Dickerson, the regular Army's wife, and he had a couple of children. And Santa Anna got to them, and they thought he was going to kill them, but he tried to adopt the little child. And Miss Dickerson said, no way, ain't going to happen. So anyway, he let them go and told them to spread, what had happened, scare them, and they should surrender. You leave this place with feeling almost like it's a shrine. To me, it is. Probably the best tribute to it was a movie that John Wayne produced and directed and starred in. It was called The Alamos. I think it was around 1960. And the day before they started the filming, he called everybody together, the cast, the crew, all the supporting workers, people from the town, and had a Catholic priest and said a prayer and bless it, and go from there. We think he saw that in vain, but they didn't. Less than a year later, Santa Anna's troops met Sam Houston's troops at the Goliad, and it completely destroyed Santa Anna's army. And legend also has it that he was captured hiding behind some trees, found some women's clothing, had a dress on, and all that. And so some of the boys caught him, and they were going to do to him what he had done to the Texas boys, but Sam Houston stopped it and said no. Said he would be mortified more to let him go back and let the story come of how he did than how his lost the battle, he'd be disgraced. So is what they did, and remember the Alamo. You'll bow your heads, please. Lord, we thank you so much for this place, this folks here in our town. We just thank you for where we are, and we're just so blessed. And we ask, Lord, that you be with our President Joe, our Governor Roy, our Mayor Vernon, and our Town Manager Bob. And we ask, Lord, you be with the military, our firefighters, the EMTs, and law enforcement. And we pray, Lord, you continue to bless the United States of America and Beach Mountain. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to change something up real quick. I left an item out at the beginning of the meeting. And this is a special announcement that I'd like to make to our council, our guests, our taxpayers, and the naysayers that think that this council isn't doing anything. Today, we received notice that we received $1.6 million. Never in the history of the mountain have we have reached the accomplishments that we are reaching today. This money is going to be used, it's going to be a reimbursement for funds that have already been spent for the Lake Coffee project, and the funds are going to go towards planning and design. The point I also want to make is that this council is reaching outside of just the corporate limits of Beach Mountain. This past weekend, I went to the GOP meeting, and they were surprised to see a representative from Beach Mountain, and Beach Mountain got recognized. So it was very nice. We reach out to our county commissioners. We've been working with these guys on several projects. We reach out to our North Carolina legislators, our U.S. congressmen. And these folks, regardless of your politics, whether you're Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. The folks that we've been reaching out to is the reason that we've been getting funds for Beach Mountain. We were awarded $14 million, and we stand a good chance to receive another $15 million in the near future. We'll keep you folks posted on it. But it's very gratifying seeing the results that not only this council is making, but the town itself, because we all benefit from it. There was some folks or a folk that said that without Bob Pudney, that this town and this council would be lost. That's just not true. That's a toxic comment. When you run an organization, it's not one person that's running that organization. It takes teamwork, and you develop a team and good people that's around you. And everyone, it's not one person that is really leading that team. So Bob may be steering the ship, but he's got a lot of good paddlers on that boat with him. He has his council, he has his department heads, he has his finance director, and his administrative staff. So there's a lot of folks and a lot of moving parts that make this town what it is today. Thank you. I'd like to move to public comment. This is time for public comment to address their concerns to their elected officials. The purpose of public comment is to hear from citizens and not a dialogue between the speaker and the council. You can speak up to 5 minutes. So we have one person that's signed up for public comment, and Nick, you get 2 minutes.
Thank you. I'm going to be longer than that. Speaking of people that are behind the scenes, I want to acknowledge a number of people that we never see, we never talk to, we never know who they are. But it's those people in the police department that answer our phones. And I would like to say that each one of those, Dave Davis, Anita Presnall, Jennifer Smith, Cole Hughes, and Iva Courtney, need to be recognized by this council and these people in this room. Because when we call, it's not break-ins sometimes, it's we're trapped in our house and can't get out. I need to be awakened in the morning because I might die if you don't call me. And they're wonderful people, and when they call, they're very businesslike and do their job perfectly. And now you can think of them tonight, whatever they look like. Town council needs to probably look at the deer situation again. Many people in the community now are sitting down and noticing that the deer population has grown a great deal. We've also known that some of them have been injured. We know that Watauga County late last year also came to this conclusion and is trying to decide what to do about the large deer population on the mountain. Another third point I want to ask you all to look at is that we've had an increase in the taxes this town, and to consider again a rebate for the population, a substantial rebate of some sort that we certainly need. The last one I want to say is it would be nice for the town council members to set up a meeting ad hoc for the town to meet them. Now, it could be at the Buckeye Center or this room, whatever it might be. But if it's our chance to sit down and have a one-on-one dialogue instead of having to speak up here or go bother Bob in his office. But setting up a special time once a month and announce that so we'd all know where you were and if we've got something that we want to bring to the council, whether it be a gripe or an applause for something that you all have done. So thank you very much, and I hope I spoke less than 5 minutes. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. Okay, I'd like to move to new business. Item 7.1.
What about the consent agenda?
I'm sorry, consent agenda. I need a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Motion?
Second,
Second.
vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Consent agenda passes. Sorry about that. New business, item 7.1. This is resolution of appreciation to Megan Phillips. Megan Phillips is on the Department of Transportation for North Carolina. And we had a situation about a month and a half ago, one of our snowstorms. It took an ambulance 4 hours to get a patient to from a place here on Beach Mountain to the hospital, and it was because of road conditions. It was because of the DOT didn't get up here in time. They didn't catch the storm. The storm caught them. So we'd like to thank Megan Phillips for her input, and they've made some revisions. They've got some additional help, salt trucks, plow trucks that are staged on Beach Mountain that they will be ahead of the storm. Some changes that the staff has made is trying to control some congestion when we do have storms in, that at 3 or 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, when the traffic's coming out of the ski resort, it's gonna be done handled in a balanced manner. So that should help also. So thank you to Megan Phillips for what she's contributed to our mountain. Item 7.2, sir, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So I need a motion to approve the resolution appreciation to Megan Phillips.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good, thank you. 7.1 passes. Item 7.2, I need a motion to open up a public hearing for rezoning of town-owned property.
Motion to open.
Second,
Second.
vote.
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, we need a discussion on this. Chief, will you explain what item 7.2 is, please?
Mayor, that's just a public hearing.
Right.
So if you would have the public, and after you close the hearing, we'll 7.3, I'll explain.
Okay, very good. So this is the public hearing, and I need a motion to open this up for any discussion with the public.
Motion to open.
Second.
All in favor? Does anyone have any comments about item 7.2? All right, so we're gonna close the motion, and this does not require a vote. Isn't that correct, Chief?
No, close the public hearing with a vote.
With a vote?
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
So, boy, I'm stumbling today, sorry.
Motion to close.
There you go.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? Very good. Same, opposed, same side. Okay, item 7.3. This is the ordinance to rezone town-owned property. Need a motion to open this up?
Motion to open.
Second.
Discussion?
You want to discuss it?
You want to say anything about it, Chief?
Well, this is the rezoning of the recently annexed property out by Buckeye Creek Road and Buckeye Road, the town property. We extended the town limits. So then the planning board, and now you've had a public hearing, has recommended this PS zoning. Our planner, Preston Yates, here today, if you have any specific questions. The ordinance attached officially sets the zoning for that piece of property. There's a map attached, in case anybody's not familiar with that section. Preston, do you want to say anything in addition?
No, I don't have anything. What's this question?
This property does not attach to existing town property.
No, it does.
It does?
It does.
Okay. So we're continuous all the way down there as town property?
Yes. So the town owned this property, but it wasn't incorporated into the town limits. And we ended just, if you're coming into the town past the Avery transfer station, the town limits began there.
No.
So this process extended the town limits out to the town-owned property, which goes right to Buckeye Road. So the Avery County transfer station is now within the town limits. It's always been on town property. And now that it's annexed into the town, it's incumbent upon the town to zone it. Avery does not have zoning, so that piece of property never had zoning. So this is the first zoning designation for this piece of property.
So the reason I asked for Chief to say a word or two about this is that, you know, at times we get accused of rubber stamping. And even though, if you read the back or you go online and look, it's self-explanatory, but I think sometimes a little further explanation will go a long way with being transparent. So
We'll need a vote.
Yes, sir.
for
We need a-
motion to accept.
we need a vote to accept item 7.3. All in favor?
Yeah.
Any opposed? All right, item 7.3 passes. Item 7.4, this is another big deal for the town. We have been working with TDA, and we have a new TDA board, except for one member, and she is now our chair. And there's, in my opinion, I think council will agree with me, a nice working relationship with the new council and the new TDA. They are expenses that the taxpayers are subsidizing that come from our visitors from Beach Mountain or to Beach Mountain. And we are working with our TDA to change this. And I need, we'll have Alan say a few words, but we need to open up or have a motion to open item 7.4.
Motion to open?
Second. Discussion. Alan, would you go into detail about item 7.4, please?
Sure. The Buckeye Rec Center opened in March 2006 and serves as the town of Beach Mountain's premier indoor recreation facility, and also serves as the Red Cross shelter when needed, as was the case on Martin Luther King holiday weekend, where 40 people and 1 dog were provided a warm place to stay, cots, beverages, and snacks. So the existing gas boilers were installed when the Buckeye Rec Center was originally built, and at that time, that technology was old technology. The units have been under constant repair over the past few years and need to be replaced before they fail completely. There's a proposal to replace 2 existing gas boilers and 10 air handlers with gas furnace split systems with AC. The 4 air handlers in the gym will receive twin gas furnace units in place of each of the existing units, as well as condensing units for the AC. The other 6 units, existing 6 units that serve other areas throughout the facility, will be replaced with gas, heat/AC air handlers and condensing units as well. The new units will be connected to the existing ductwork, and a new control system will be added for the heating and cooling system that will provide accessibility from a web page, and they will have the capability to monitor the temperature, and they would get alarms from that system. New gas piping, refrigerant lines, and electrical will be run to the gym units, and demo of the existing units, boilers and pumps is included in the project. There is a 10-year warranty through York for the air handlers, and a 10-year compressor warranty. And Norwell, who's doing the work, will be providing 1 year of labor. The total cost for this project is $196,200. And thank you, TDA, they're going to fully fund this project.
Very good. Thank you. Need a vote to accept item 7.4.
Motion to accept?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Chief?
If you would start with the financial report on page 34. I just want to bring your attention that our benchmark is 58.33% of the year through the budget. Our expenditures are at 56.18, so we're below the benchmark for expenditures. On the next page, 35, which is the water and wastewater utility, similar. Benchmark is 58.33. We're at 52.69. And last is sanitation at 57.21. So on your financial report this month, all is well in order, and our expenditures are below the benchmark for the budget. Let's see, the mayor talked about the FEMA grant, phase 1 approved. There's another, this was a $14 million grant. It's a 90-10, if you recall when we discussed this before. 90% by FEMA, 10% by the town. We've been asked to attest that we have the funds available for our 10%. I've done that. So the dollars that the mayor talked about today will be coming to the town to reimburse the town. And then the phase 2, which has not been granted, but once they give you $1.6 million for phase one. There's a real good chance you're gonna get phase two. That'll be about $12 million. So let me bring you up to speed on Ski Loft. We have one final neighborhood meeting scheduled for this Thursday, the 14th at 4 p.m. We've advertised that, so if council wishes to attend, they can. And that meeting is to answer any final questions from the property owners on Ski Loft before the work begins. We will be turning all the utilities, electrical, water, sewer, April 1st. First thing in the morning, the power company will go up and disconnect the transformers. We'll go up and disconnect the water meters. The communication folks will be up there disconnecting their communications. And that's being done so that when the contractor, if you recall, we're under a time constraint here. When the contractor begins digging to replace the pipes, we're not going to worry about what we hit. Everything that's in the ground will be replaced. So Mountain Electric didn't want the transformers connected in case we will grab an underground wire, it would damage the transformer. So all that work will take place for 2 days beginning April 1st. And then the contractor will begin demolition. It'll take 2 to 3 weeks of doing demolition up the road, and then start digging and putting pipe in. It's a 180-day project. As everyone should be aware, we've got substantial penalties, and more importantly, we have bonuses to complete the project on time. We met yesterday with all the contractors involved. Everybody's on board. We have all the materials staged, pre-staged. We're waiting for no materials now, and it's anticipated the project will go as smooth as possible. So our meeting on Thursday, we'll live stream that as well as record it for those property owners that can't be here. We've taken a number of written questions from the property owners, which we'll answer at that meeting, as well as any other questions that come forward. We'll have all the contractors, the utility people, of course, town folks will be here for that meeting. So looking forward to getting that started and getting it completed. Some really good news, the Pinnacle Ridge well has passed its final test. The engineer is signing off. We did that yesterday. We're waiting on the actual license from the state to be delivered to the town. The well exceeded design specifications yesterday. We're anticipating 100,000 gallons per day direct injection into the system. That's a big deal for us. It's almost 25% of our daily capacity, and we'll be able to put that into the system. So it's running. We're not putting water into the system until we have the document from the state, and I anticipate that at any time. Work on Tamarack and Charter Hills. We're replacing all the water services on that road. We've started doing street cuts. We'll be digging that up. It's going to be a nightmare, worse than it's been. Slamarack. The good news is that the third week of April, the pavers will be here, and we'll be resurfacing Tamarack and that piece of Charter Hills. So by the end of April, those people will have substantial relief. We've put 3 crews on, and we've got 42 services to replace, and they're getting about 3 to 4 per day. So that's where we are in Tamarack. We've had plenty of notices and signage, and I still receive calls, you know, how do I get around, or I didn't know that you were doing this. But believe me, when we're done, it'll be well received. Lake Coffee progressing well. Our final dam design is expected this month. Met with the engineers out there yesterday. We just had some additional funding available through FEMA that's come in today, and that will assist in paying some of the town's out-of-pocket costs. You and our taxpayers have been covering the cost of Lake Coffee, the design, the permitting since the beginning. So now those dollars will be able to reimburse our utility for those costs, and that will greatly enhance the bottom line of our utility. The Town Hall Visitor Center, I started with the good news first. We're well behind schedule. It seems the contractor can't get people to work on a weekly basis, let alone a daily basis. We've moved staff. Most of the staff is in the trailer. The town clerk's up in the kitchen. I'm working out of a closet. And we're struggling to get it done. So we've got substantial funds that are being withheld to finish the project. The contractor is, working to get it done, but progress has been very slow. We have a special meeting on the 28th to go over the budget financial model. Steve has plugged in all the capital improvement programs. We've put a base budget in there for you, and we're going to bring Mr. Cheatwood up, and he's going to walk you through the financial model. 3 of the members haven't seen it. This will allow you to go in depth and in real time decide what capital projects, if any, you wish to fund. And when you make that decision real time, it'll show you on the model how that impacts not only the budget, the fund balance, taxes, it does all that. In addition, I invited the TDA to that meeting. We had a really good budget retreat meeting with the TDA. That's what, out of that meeting came the $196,000 for Buckeye. I invited them to the meeting, and it's been advertised. To have a joint meeting, because I did ask the TDA to assist in funding costs that the town taxpayers have been experiencing based on the massive influx of visitors to the town. So that we've got a good dialogue going, and 2 of our council were there at the retreat. So hopefully the TDA will be here on the 28th, and we'll be able to talk about some things if you choose to do a project and the TDA chooses to fund it, how that will enhance our budget and how that will take more of a burden off of our taxpayers. So that's the 28th here, and we'll make that happen. Let me turn the page here. And the TDA has been very active in asking me what areas of the budget could they assist us in, and I've given them, I think, 12 specific items, and they're negotiating with us on those. We have a joint tour of the town's recreation facilities with the town council, the Parks and Rec Committee, and the TDA. It's April 4th at 9 o'clock. We've advertised it as well so that all the groups can meet together. You're gonna meet in the parking lot. We've got a shuttle bus, and Sean Royal, our Parks and Rec Director, will be taking the group around so that everyone has got a handle on all of the town's facilities, particularly recreation facilities. And you'll have a better idea, and as we move forward in the budget, what our needs are. The big need of the boilers at Buckeye has been met, so that's gonna help that conversation. It was interesting to hear about the deer herd study. If you recall, I believe it was last month, could be the month before, you asked me to contact the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission to speed up their 5-year deer herd study here. We did that formally, and we got a formal reply. They're not coming. I'm going to quote. I've got it. They do not anticipate coming back anytime soon unless there is a, quote, significant change in herd density. There hasn't been notable change in the herd status around Beech Mountain relative to biological carrying capacity, and therefore they're not going to up their schedule. So they're not coming. In that same note, the town of Boone discussed a similar urban hunt. We were asked to look into that. Town of Boone had an urban hunt for deer on their agenda, and they chose not to follow through that on that path as well. I would like permission to engage an engineering firm to review our system development fee study. This is the fee that is charged for new construction that comes in and connects to the utility. Our study is about 8 years old, and obviously costs have changed, value of our utility has changed, and the building in our community has increased. That by law requires a formalized analysis, engineering analysis, set those fees. We've got a quote of about, well, no, we don't have a quote. We're waiting on a quote. I think it's going to be about $15,000 to $20,000. But we'd like to have permission to at least go out and ask for requests for proposal and get a cost on that and move forward. So that would need a motion for me to move forward on that.
You need it now?
It's up to you. You may not want me to do it. Last thing I've got, and I'd like you to turn to page 59 in your packet, and I'm not raising the alarm, kind of, but I want to show. We've been giving you these numbers for the last every meeting, but for the last 3 months, if you look under the wastewater treatment category, it's halfway down in the page, and we list our two sewer plants, Pond Creek and Grassy Gap. And if you'll follow down on the January 24th column, and you'll see MGD max, and then you see at the bottom permitted daily max. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. So if you look at the Pond Creek wastewater treatment, the permitted daily max is 400,000 gallons a day. That's what the state permits us to operate that plant at. If you'll go one row above that, we maxed out in January of 1,090,000 gallons of sewage in one day at that treatment plant. If you go down to the Grassy Gap treatment plant, which is much smaller, we have 80,000 gallon permitted daily max, and we maxed out at 271,000 gallons. So, and to the column to the right, you'll see what the same time last year did. So, as I discussed with our utilities director, and we weren't joking, when we have a water issue, you can turn the water off. You cannot turn the sewage off. It keeps coming. So we have an issue with the amount of sewage that we're attempting to treat. It is directly reflective of two things. One is our I&I, which is infiltration to the system, which you and other councils have been addressing over the years. And this is where our sewer system and our manholes leak, and groundwater goes into the system, gets to the plant, and is counted in these totals. And you're spending millions of dollars a year to repair, replace, and monitor the sewer system. If you just finished the Grassy Gap sewer shed study, it was $400,000. And now we've got a grant as well as a loan to replace aging infrastructure with sewer lines and manholes. And we've been focused for years on potable water, rightly so, but we really need to talk about the sewage side of the house. The second thing that is driving this is the number of people that are here flushing the toilet. If you haven't noticed the traffic, and we talked about, Martin Luther King weekend, the mountain is far more occupied than it has been in the past. We see this with the water meters turning. If in this same report, if you go up to the water treatment, which is the potable water at the top, it corresponds very, very directly with the amount of water we're producing and selling and the amount of sewage that we're receiving and treating. The issue is this: we cannot continue operating at over 100% of permitted capacity of our sewer plant. Now, the permitted capacity is what the state permits us to use the plant for. The plant can exceed that. We just can't do that all the time. One, we're in violation of our permit. Two, the plants aren't going to continue operating above 100%. So although we've been focused on potable water, rightly so, and we've got a plan and we've got millions of dollars directed towards Lake Coffee and more source water, the other side of the coin is what you see the last 3 months in your report is the sewage side of the house. So all I'm asking is keep that in mind. A couple things have to happen. We have to improve the existing sewer system to reduce the infiltration, which we are, but we're also going to have to take a long-term look where are we gonna be in 5 years? And is additional sewage treatment going to be required? If it is, that's not a short-term fix. That takes design, engineering, funding, and permitting. So, we'll see this drop next month because we're gonna have fewer people. And we'll make it through the rest of the year, but this is going to reoccur, and you can see in 12-month period from January of '23 to January 24, how exponentially it increased, and we're going to have a problem. So I wanted to make sure you were aware of that, and we send you those numbers every month, and I want to make sure you focus in on those a little bit so that we can have this discussion as we move forward, not only in budget, but in capital improvement planning. We can't solve this in a year. It would take, 5 to 7 years to get a plant built and online.
Chief, I have a question. If we applied for a grant through FEMA, and with these kind of numbers, would that elevate our position with FEMA to get some funding?
Well, certainly it would be a part of our application. It's far premature to go looking for money because we don't have a solution. We don't have a design. We don't have people want to see a glossy proposal and what do you want money for and what are you going to build. I think what we need to do is closely monitor what our repairs to the system has an impact, and closely monitor how the mountain is occupied, and quite frankly, start planning to do something about it and not wait for something to happen.
So this is my suggestion, that we start this process. If this is gonna take 5 to 7 years, that means we have plenty that much longer.
Bob, are these, the permitted daily max, that's a hard number, it's not an average number.
No, the permitted daily max is a hard number. The average is above that, if you look at
Right.
the averages, and we report those. The state gives us some leeway. So this is a monthly report, and you're only looking at 1 day max. So that day, we were substantially over our permit. If our flow average, daily flow starts exceeding our permitted, the state will step in. I don't know if did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did,
Okay.
I think.
Well, if you look at the numbers for Pond Creek, so our permitted daily max is 400,000. Our maximum day was 1,090,000. But if you look up to
The
our
total then.
if you look up to the second line where it says 0.381 million gallons average, that's what we report to the state.
And that's a 30-day average.
Yeah, well.
Monthly average.
Monthly average. Mayor, that's my report.
Okay. Need a motion to accept the town manager's staff report.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
Mayor, do I take that to mean that you would like me to move forward on proposals for system development fee?
Before we voted on it, I personally would like to get some additional cost on it and see what this study is going to be in just a little bit more detail.
Well, that's what I want to do. I want to go out and get a proposal to bring
Okay.
to you. But I don't want to do that work if that's not something you want to move towards. It, in all probability, will raise system development fees, which means people building in the
Right.
future will pay more money.
So, as I understand it, you just need us to authorize you to move forward with getting a proposal from a company, and then you're gonna bring that to us for the cost at a later date.
Yes,
Or you can spend money to
I
do
don't
it.
want to do the exercise if you don't want me to raise the fees.
If our fees are below where they need to be, then I think we need to have that number.
Well, in that, therein lies the issue. Anecdotally, I believe it's time to renew that study and reset those fees. That's why I say in all probability, they'll go up. Everything else has gone up, but I don't know that. And so are you interested in having, well, once you go down this path and you have a proposal that says, your fees should be this and you're charging less, you can not raise the fees, but I think realistically, this could very well raise the fees for system development, fees for new construction. If you don't want me to do that, then we won't.
I think it's good information to have.
It doesn't mean we have to do it, just gives us
Correct.
information.
Right. Just
Correct.
gives us a ballpark.
Yeah. I think we should allow him to go
Yes.
find out what it's gonna cost us.
Sure.
Make a
Okay.
motion to go ahead with it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Town council comments. It's an opportunity for members of the council to express items of concern or interest which are not otherwise on the agenda for action. Alan?
Yeah, Art and I were able to sit in with with the TDA during their budget retreat. And, I think we're very pleased. Jana's doing a great job leading up the TDA and all the new members that have been seated. We're very appreciative of their time and really look forward to working with them in the future. They're doing a great job of interfacing with one another and working together as a team, and that's what the council expects, and we really appreciate their time.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on that bandwagon. I also sat through the meetings. I think that Bob made it very clear to the TDA, the committee, that there are expenses that the taxpayers are absorbing that are directly attributed to the influx of guests during the holiday weekends. And the ski resort is setting records for attendance, and but we need to deal some, those expenses come to the town, come to the taxpayer. So with the TDA's consideration of that, and then their actions, number one, right off the bat with the unit down at Buckeye it was a great plus, and it opens up the door for this council and the TDA to expand the relationship. So I thank Jenna and all of the people involved, and let's keep it moving forward. Thanks.
Stafford?
Thank you, TDA, for your support. Winter season is coming to a close very quickly, and spring is here. Kind of funny, during public comments, we talked about being able to have dialogue with council members. And I was trying to get clarification on the coffee shop schedule, which I got while I was sitting here at the meeting. So on Thursday, the 21st, from 10:30 to 12, if you want to come have coffee with me, I'll be at the coffee shop. I'm happy to discuss and take in information and see what the needs are.
Kelly?
Ditto with what everybody said. Just a reminder that that system at Buckeye was one of our budget retreat action items. So Alan did a great job in pushing that forward and getting that done. And thank you to the fire department for being here. Glad that you were here. You're a big part of this community.
We've mentioned the BRIC grants for quite some time, and just want to remind everyone what the BRIC stands for. It's BRIC, and it's Building, Resiliency, Infrastructure, and Community. So that's where a lot of this money is coming through, or coming from. And not to beat a dead horse, but I left a couple items out, what this council is doing, behind the scenes. We have monthly meetings with the EDC. We attend those. We have our mayor's roundtable. We attend these. And then also our high council of government that we're involved in also. So there's more that we do that's just here on Beech Mountain. We're representing our town and community throughout the entire county. As everyone here has echoed, I'd like to thank TDA for their financial contribution to the taxpayers. And also, Lisa McRae College, they've had a club sport for their ski and snowboard team for numerous years, and they are ranked #1 in the nation. They're ranked either #1 or they're in the top 5. And I'd like to announce today that they are moving to a varsity sport, so they're going to be recognized on a collegiate level. There'll be scholarships, and it's a big day for Lisa McRae. And also, one of our town council members, his son came in, what place, Sam?
I don't remember. Several different places. He competes in 4 different things, but the men's snowboard team was the #1 in the nation, along with the women's snowboard team in the combined alpine.
A good day for Beach Mountain, and they've got curriculums in the snow sports industry that the resort is a part of, obviously with the resort being in their back door. That's a growing partnership within our community. You know, we had the president of Lisa McRae that spoke to us 2 months ago. So I think we're getting off the mountain and working with people, and we're bringing people back up to Beach Mountain to work with us and see what we're about. Okay, anybody have any additional comments?
I was just gonna say, and that team trains on Beach Mountain. That is where they do their training.
Okay, very good. We'll adjourn the meeting. I'm sorry. Need a motion? I got it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Very good, thank you. Screwed up.
We'll keep you straight.
You know what?
Fine.
Last 2 or 3 meetings, I took very few notes.
Yeah.
And here,
I see that.
I can't even